Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to a Paw Your Way into Our Hearts video, which means we are doing dog or pet related layouts. And I'm following along with Follow a Sketch February. The sketch is by Valine Salmon. And I'm going to rotate that sketch so you can see in the corner I've gone ahead and rotated it to meet my needs. I'm using a whole bunch of product from the 49 and Market Everywhere collection and the cluster kit. So I'm going pretty simple. Well, it doesn't look simple when it's all at the end of the day, but I'm trying to build that cluster that is at the very top of the cluster kit packaging there. It looks like it is hanging from like a ribbon or something like that. And it has a big bow on it using the fiber that's in the package. I don't know what to call it. It's not really a ribbon. It's not really a twine. It is more like, I don't know, it's like thicker than a shoelace almost, kind of like what would be in the hoodie of your sweatshirt. So I'm not using it because it's too thick for my liking, but I love all the other pieces in it. So I'm going to use some of those. I don't end up using this little banner piece that says Traveler on it. I think that's really super cute and I really wanted to use it, but it is actually for another cluster in this cluster kit. I don't always follow the kits as they are designed. I kind of do what I want with them, but I did pretty closely follow this one because I ended up really liking the way that it looked, and I'm going to use my own ribbon for it, or twine for it to hang from. I did ink up all of my pieces with some black soot distress ink, and I am cutting out some photos of my dog. Her name is Coda, in fitting them into the two photo frames that are on that cluster kit. Now I do have two larger photos of her sitting in the truck with my husband while he's driving. We took her to get groomed, and normally we bathe her at home. So this was her first grooming excursion with us. We got her when she was probably around 8 months old. They're guesstimating. We rescued her, and she's a bit of a nut to groom. I don't know. She's kind of a handful. We'll just put it that way. But she's really cute. So thankfully she's cute because she makes up for it in her cuteness. But yeah, she really tries to get out of the tub. Her back legs go up the wall of the tub and she howls the whole time. So we took her to PetSmart to get groomed, and we were a little bit fearful on how she would do and how she would react, and we let them know she's very vocal and all of that good stuff. And sure enough, they said, yeah, she was vocal, but she was fine otherwise. She just made sure everybody knew how she felt about everything. But she's not a biter. She's not a nipper, really. She just is a talker. So, and I think that's kind of normal for a husky. It's a breed thing, and so yeah, we just go with it. Anyway, these photos were taken after she was picked up. She was so excited to be sitting up front. Normally she's in the back seat of the car so that she's not in the back seat of the truck, so that she's not really in the way. But she just would not leave my husband's side, and for a big portion of it she was leaning on me, and then she was leaning on him, and so we were just like, okay, we're just gonna go with it. She's behaving. And she's not really any trouble in the car really either, but you know, just for the safety's sake, we usually keep the dogs in the back seat. But we didn't have very far to go, so we said, okay, well, we'll just let her up here and see how she does. And she was so happy. You can kind of see in her eyes and in her smile. She's just a happy girl to be picked up and on her way home. So still working on this big old cluster. This is going to be the main focal point of this layout, with the exception of the photos. Like this is the embellishment, the embellishments that are going on here. I'm going to tuck a few things up on the top of the page. So this portion is going to go underneath the photos, kind of where it says title, and it has the flower bits in the sketch, and the bottom a little bit off center towards the right. That's where this is going. And then I am going to put some other embellishments up where that flower is at the top of the page. My two photos are going to be mounted on another strip of paper where you see the strip of paper going across the band, going across the entire layout there in the sketch, and that's where mine is going. But I am going to use this striped paper as my background and this blue paper as the strip going across the center. I was thinking about using that text piece that is underneath, but I didn't like it as much. This blue really does match the sky and my husband's shirt and her eyes, so I just decided to go with the blue and scratch using that text sheet at all. And I really like how it came out. So I did a torn edge, and I am tearing the top as well, trying to be careful to tear it somewhat straight, which these papers tear really, really well if you kind of give it a little bit of a guidance. It works. They work really well. So I didn't have any trouble with it going all wonky. It's got a little bit of movement in the tear, but it's not like a diagonal tear or anything like that. So I'm pretty happy with the way that this turned out. I am going to tuck this one larger piece underneath my entire cluster area just because it's a little less patterned than that black and white stripe, and I think that's going to go well. And I'm kind of putting it a little bit off center from the cluster because I want it to kind of show more on one side than the other. I don't want it to look perfectly centered. That's not really how this layout is going. Sometimes I do want to center things perfectly, but in this case, no. And I like how that's looking. I am leaving myself very, very little journaling spots, you guys. There's not going to be a ton of journaling on this layout. Just basically that we took her for her first grooming, and she did much better than we anticipated. So that was very nice. And you will see the journaling in the close-ups because I don't do that on camera. It's kind of, I don't know, it's not a very exciting thing to watch, and it does take me a little bit to write things down. Even though there was just a little bit, it still takes more time than you would think. So I just omitted showing you the actual act of writing, but it is in the close-ups, so you'll get to see that. Okay, I'm using the ephemera kit just to tuck in some bits and pieces up at this top left area. And I want to make sure there's some orange up there because I've got quite a bit of orange in the bottom area with regard to the geotag and the butterfly that has a lot of orange on it, and the little label piece. And then I know I want to have a little bit of blue up here because I've got quite a bit of blue down below as well. So I want to make sure that color is represented in both areas. I didn't use a lot of green on this layout, so I'm not even worried about that. But I thought I would use this this butterfly shaped map print. And use that in my cluster up above. And then I'm going to use some black and white baker's twine to go through my tag here and go across the top of my cluster, mostly because the paper in the background is black and white, so I thought I'd bring in more of that down here. Now, I didn't like the original way I was trying to put it through the tag, so I pulled it out and I just looped it through a couple of times, and then I'm just using a little tiny bit of my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to make sure that that gets stuck down in place. While I do that, don't forget there are a bunch of people playing along with the Paw Hop. All of the links are down below for you so that you can go and check out those videos, and there is a playlist down below for everyone playing along with Follow a Sketch February. And you can go and check out all of the videos that have been released to date by following that playlist or by clicking on that playlist. So go and check them out, and make sure you leave Sandy over at State Goddess. Her channel is State Goddess. You can also find her on Facebook at State Goddess, or her Facebook group for her business is Scrapping Reflections, and you can go over there and check that out also. And you can get all of the sketches if you want to play along by going to the albums in her Facebook group. So go and check that out and give her a little bit of love for putting all of this together. I did ink up all the way around the outside of the entire layout, and I'm actually going to use some of these gray photo corners, which is pretty unusual for me. I don't use photo corners very often, but they do come in the ephemera kit, so I thought I would go ahead and use those because they are, I thought they would just look nice. I don't know why I don't use them more often, but it's just not something I really go for. But that is it, you guys. You can see my journaling is on the white in the background at the top and just a little bit down on the little label area here at the bottom right-hand side. That's it for this video. If you have questions or comments, leave those down below. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. I really appreciate all of your time and choosing my channel to watch. So thank you for that. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing as well. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.